As regards the ADC, yes, I'm not surprised if Raph Nwosu says that people offered him political positions, ministerial positions. You always get that in politics. But it was a good thing that he rejected those positions in the interest of democracy, because what kills democracy quicker is the absence of viable opposition. And if for anything, I'm happy that the ADC has come on board to be able to provide that viable opposition. I mean, for the first time in a long while, we saw APC jittery. We saw them get on their feet. Minister Wike cannot go to any public function now without giving a jab at the ADC. And you know what that means? It is what you have on your mind you talk about every time. So it means that he's bothering him. It gives him a lot of sleepless nights and worries. So that's why anywhere he goes, be it the church, be it the mosque, be it the educational place, which I'm against going to church and talk politics, but he must go there and he must talk about the ADC. He must try to downgrade the ADC and say, oh, they're not a viable option and everything. For the first time too, we are seeing government officials respond to the questions the ADC will ask. Now they're giving the government a challenge to be able to tell us how much loans have been taken over the years. So you see the government officials on the offensive. You see the likes of Sunday Diary, they're constantly responding. That's what we call an opposition. Formerly, it was just a couple of voices, maybe Atiku, a representative, or Peter Obi's tweets and everything. But now you have a cohesive force. And you've also seen that the PDP has also started to wake up. But the question is, people that hijack PDP still have a very strong lever over PDP. So whatever PDP does, even if they see power to the south, definitely there are still some people, pulling the puppet string at the back. And that's why it doesn't look as though they are going to be able to mount a very, very strong and viable opposition because of the hitherto decimation that has happened in that political party. This was the same party that was said before that will rule this country for the next 60 years. As regards the North, yes, 2/3, yes, the population spread. I think that should also be subject to census. Let's be able to count these things with empirical. When last did we have census in this country? 2006. I thought part of the things President Tinubu was going to do, President Buhari of blessed memory was supposed to have that census. I think they had even started, buying all the things they need to be able to get the process on the way. But he pushed it to President Tinubu. President Tinubu has not had census. It's not right for a country. You can't do economic planning without census. So as regards the postulation of the numbers out of the North in population, let's even have a census so we know where we are. If we don't have a census, it's not a good place to move forward. But as regards, yes, the North plays an integral role in our politics. They are jittery there. The government is jittery. That's why they are sending the likes of George Akume to go to the North and say, it's only right to give the South their turn. Then you'd seek power in 2031. But there are also discordant tunes in the North. They feel sidelined. You see, that's what happens when we try to play this politics of region. There is no how any region will ever say they are fairly treated. There is no how. Now is the North complaining. The other day, Rabbi Musa Kwangaso was complaining that most projects are done in the South and everything. Omahi has even told him to apologize because they've shown him projects being done in the North. But when you look at it, it will be as if our man is not there, then it's nothing. So people will always complain. Every region at some point in this country. And that's why when they blame the Igbos so much for the civil war that, they actually want to leave. The question we should ask is, which region has not said they want to leave the unity of Nigeria? They want to leave this country. The Yoruba group has said that at some point. In fact, even recently we had the like of Sunday Igboho shouting that. The North, people extract, the Northern Israel was the first to scream Araba in this country, that they wanted to leave. The Igbos in the civil war. So I keep looking, why are we now making it as if it's only the Igbos that have screamed that they want to leave? But most importantly, why all of these warring parts are screaming? It's because we've not had good leadership. Good leadership that you can see is equitable to all. And you see, ideally, good leadership should not be based on calculation of ethnicity or tribe or region. It should be based on equality standard. But because politicians have bastardized the ecosystem, that's why we keep talking about region. So President Tinubu can all he wants, try as much as possible to appease the North and things like that. But you see, every region makes up their mind who they are going to vote for. It's not your appeasement that will work the wonders. It can change some minds. We remember the days of President Goodluck Jonathan. In the last days, he spent a lot of money into the North. He injected a lot of cash, but he didn't make people vote for him. they still chose Buhari over him? All we just say is we need good leadership that can solve most of the problems in this country.
Let me begin with politics today, with the conversations coming from the northern region of the country, the northern part of the country, to attempt to address what one group is calling marginalization, and another group is saying, specifically the government is saying, well, efforts are being made and strides are being made. You had, for example, the governor of Gombe State saying that the Northeast has not felt the impact of the superhighways, that they want to see federal presence. And this is a conversation that has been going on for a number of days now in this current context. However, historically, if you look at Nigeria pre-independence, this was one of the hottest issues. 1953, a number of MPs walked out of parliament because of issues pertaining to independence. When Enahoro proposed, the context of an independent Nigeria, and the Northerners walked out because they felt that some of the context would marginalize them. And then you fast forward to, there's so many instances, one cannot look at all of them, but just to select a few, you look at some of the tension as well that came post-Civil War. There were also conversations around how the North felt marginalized by the no victor, no vanquished scheme that came up after that, and they felt that that was unfair to the North. You look at the time of the oil derivation. So there are so many instances in history, even regarding insecurity, when the North felt that they were not getting enough attention with regards to the rise of insurgency and insecurity. So many instances where you see that the North has called out and felt that they are being marginalized by whoever the power be at that point in time. I raise this to raise a point that roadshows are not the solution. That we can have all of these meetings of elites reeling out all of the lists of so-called achievements and so forth, but there's clearly a deeper fundamental issue that over the years, many of the speakers referred to 20 years, but it goes back beyond those 20 years. There's a consistent fundamental issue that it continues to exist in the reality of the northern region of the country that is not being addressed. Now, many may have felt that, rotating the presidency could have been a band-aid to that, but it's proving that even that is not a solution. So what is the way forward? Like I said, I don't think a roadshow is the way to address it, because this is a political solution, but these are developmental issues that we're facing here. It's one thing for politicians to come and list all of the achievements and all of the things that are being done, but this is the time that we would have wanted to hear from the people. Let the people come out and say that, yes, we are the people from such and such place in northern Nigeria, and we feel that this is how this administration is benefiting us. That's really how we will get a genuine assessment of what's really happening on the ground. Yes, there's a clamor for infrastructural projects and so forth because some leaders in the north feel that there should be more emphasis there. However, as important as these superhighways are and so forth, we ask ourselves, are these really the urgent fundamental needs of that region at this point in time? We know that education is an urgent priority. Well, some might argue that that falls under the subnationals. And that was the call by Governor Ubasani, where he said that as governors, how much are we really doing for our people before we come out and complain? Now, of course, one of the major issues is the issue of security. The NSA came out and said that, well, the instances of insecurity have reduced drastically and so forth. However, the headlines in the newspapers seem to conflict with that. And the general sense that we hear from people is that this situation as it pertains to security is not yet uhuru. Then, of course, economic stimulation. Now, there's talk of reviving Kaduna Textile, which is a positive development, but it can't be knee-jerk reactions. There needs to be a plan. And some might say that, these problems existed before the president. But when the president campaigned to be the president of Nigeria, surely he knew that these legacy problems, these age-old problems in the north existed, and there should have been a plan. So we shouldn't be in a place where we're now doing knee-jerk reactions because of the politics of the day. Lastly, on this issue, it's a little bit disappointing where optics are concerned to see that the elites and the politicians and office holders are gathering for such a roadshow at a time where the focus needs to be on governance, and we want to see more of people in their offices reporting back and executing on the duties that we still require of them outside of any political campaign. Yes, there are pressures. Just the other day, the ANPP was also saying that, if there's any threat to Kashim Shettima as a vice presidential running mate, that they too are going to pull out of the APC. There's a lot going on. However, politics is not our priority right now. Governance is our priority. Having said that, it's good to see the ADC, an opposition coalition, show us an example of what an organized opposition can look like. I hope they're able to continue on this journey of internal democracy that we are seeing play out. Some might say that not all issues have been addressed. Some are saying that, okay, these are a group of recycled politicians and we're yet to hear what they actually have to offer. What's their value proposition besides being opposition? Well, it looks like they're getting their house in order, and I think I would call for them to move a little bit faster. Because people are itching to hear what it is they have to offer, and it's important for us to hear what they stand for beyond being opposition.